Next up is learning how to stabilize with no movement. So now there's no floor. You haven't got that much protection. This is a more traditional plank, but you can see, if you never did that first set, a lot of us jump right into doing planks, and we haven't done the homework that comes before it. So you may need to go back to the last step. This step you may be doing all the time, but maybe you haven't earned your place to be here. So the plank looks like this. On the forearms, you're going to put your toes down, push the back through your heels, and you're just holding with your shoulder directly over your elbow, your ear, your shoulder, your hip, and your ankles and knees, all in that same line. Holding here for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, but you really don't need to go a full minute even to prove that you've got this stability to hold this pose. The next one is actually a side plank. I'm going to show you a couple of variations, and I've got a little prop here, and the reason for my prop could be a stack of books, and it could be a step, would also work. But here's the first way most people will do a side plank. In this position, it may not be comfortable, and you can take that top arm, put it high up, put it here, you can put it here on the opposite shoulder, but a lot of people can't quite do this. Let me give you another option. Fold those legs back, and you can actually make this a shorter lever that's much more doable. Now that helps, but if it doesn't help entirely, the problem is often your shoulder taking the stress. So here's a way to actually make that a little bit easier. Now this prop is a little bit high, but if you can elevate your legs up higher on something than on the ground, you can actually take a little pressure off of the shoulders. And I'm going to tip this over and be a little bit more eloquent than up high. So I've got this. It's about shoulder height. Now it's going to roll. It's not ideal, but it's going to get less stress on my shoulders, so I'm not actually putting it all there. I'm distributing it much more evenly, and I'll tell you what, I'm feeling it much more right where I want to and less up here. So totally another option for coming down. Now let me just show you that on the other side. Not to bore you, because now you know what's coming, right? But here's the key. You're not going to be the same on both sides. So it's a good idea that you test, and you want to know which side is actually easier or harder. I can tell you right now, this set of obliques in my sideways is far weaker than this, because I'm barely feeling it, and I was feeling it right away over here. So these guys need a wake-up call, and it's good to know that before an injury shows up and tells you that in a little bit louder voice. So next up, we've got that front plank on the forearms. We've got the side plank. Now here's another version that you're going to often see, and I'm going to show you, I want you to watch it before you do it, and I'm going to show you why. Fingertips are pointed away from my body, this way, and I'm going to bridge up with my hips to a straight line. Now, there's a little stretch here on my shoulders that doesn't have to be here in order for me to get the exercise. So what I really am wanting is to elevate my core, use my glutes and my hamstrings, so here and here behind my leg. So if I'm troubling my shoulders to do that, it's no good. So I'm going to pull in an exercise ball and show you that you can use that instead as a substitute. So you can get the core, get that stabilization without stressing the shoulder. So with my exercise ball, my legs come back up. I'm on the back of my ankle. I don't necessarily want to be on my calf, choked up way up here, but I want to be way out here, elbows to the side. Now I can bridge this way. There's no stress to my shoulders, no stress to my neck. It's a little curve in the small of my back, but I'm still now stabilizing using my core, and I'm using my hamstrings and my glutes to get me there. Nice, easy exercise. Well, not so easy, but not so stressful in a place where we don't need the stress. Those are examples of how you would stabilize now without movement. So the very first set that you did was all about coming back to deep core stabilization and activation. Now we're really getting into stabilization, no movement. Keep that core still while the rest of your body is still. Next up, we're going to move into stabilization with movement.